Everything is motherfucking horny. Nothing is actually sexy or erotic. And this is my biggest problem. So I'll put it this way. If you wonder the difference between a horny and erotic, imagine it's like life is like a fan fiction or a storybook. Anyone can write, ooh, booba in mouth. Peenie go wow wow. Peenie go up. Peenie dick in face. Yeah, come. Ah! Anyone can do that. Anyone can put on a push-up bra. Anyone can put on a thong. Anyone can get oiled up. And like you can just like, everyone can talk about sucking cock and like doing all types of, anyone can do it. It's getting played out. And you want to know why certain people, like, I'll put it this way, especially sex sells, but almost every single person now is trying to sell cunt, is trying to sell pussy. And I mean that both metaphorically and honestly. That's okay. We're like, I don't mind either, really. I support that. But then you'll notice that some of the people who really leave an impression are the ones where it's like they speak in the right breathy voice. They know certain things, like tension and things being concealed can get you so much farther. There's like a saying that I'm trying to remember. Usually the best things are unspoken. So like, I'll put it this way. Think of it like a fling. Which do you think is going to stick in your head more? You can go into a bar, find any old guy, go to the bathroom, fuck really hard like animals, and then leave. Sexy, right? It has its own little moment, but it's nothing special. But it has to have something really stick out to you to stand out. Eroticism is more like, oh, what if the whole evening before you fuck that stranger in the bathroom, when you didn't know you would fuck that stranger in the bathroom, there is tension and sexuality in the not knowing, in the yearning, and the looks across the bar, and being like, oh my god, I didn't know their eyes looked that good up close, when you finally get the urge to talk to them after like an hour of eye fucking across the room, and you're nervously in your head like, does he like me, does he like me, does he not, oh my god, and you're feeling it. You're feeling your body heat up. You're feeling the goosebumps come. You're really thinking about it. And by the time you actually do get close enough to talk to them, you notice in the bar lights, wow, they have really nice green eyes. And here I were thinking they were dark brown, and oh my god, his pupils are huge looking at me. He is excited. And then you'll notice that he hangs on to your every fucking word like a sweet little golden retriever. And he really wants you, and you can tell, but are you gonna give it up to him easy? No, the fuck you're not. Why? Because you're better than that, and he has to work for it. And the next thing you know, over the course of the evening, maybe you'll just see with each drink that he tries to put into your hands how he's trying to basically force the bartender to get his attention with snapping and like just so desperate to do anything you want. Any single thing you want to order from the bar, he gets it for you. Any drink, any food. If you even say something stupid or silly like, oh my god, the bar has like fuzzy wallpaper on the ceiling, I really want to touch it. It's always been on my bucket list to do that, but it's so high up. That's his chance to be like, get on my shoulders, I'll make you do it right now. And then you'll touch the ceiling together. And then you'll laugh and giggle as the whole bar just laughs at how silly you two are. You know, there's a layer of whimsy, fantasy, like things that actually add to the nature of a situation, at least in my book. Because anyone can fuck a stranger at a bar. What makes it special? And the best way to arouse someone is depriving them of what they want. It's actually known for like smut and fluff, aka stories that are sexual and also just like, you know, cutesy. No matter what, which do you think is gonna have someone more emotionally invested, hooked, and begging for more? A short story on Wattpad that's like 2 fucking pages? It's like, okay, cool. The first page is like the most weak-ass shit ever. Like, AI could have written it. It's so fucking bland. Oh, girl blushes seeing boy. Boy smiles and waves. Blah, blah, blah. By the next page, she's already pegging him. It's nothing special. What would make it special? I'm just saying. Not saying, like, you know, I'm not saying not everything needs to be summarized. Some things can be long, drawn out, perfect masterpieces where next thing you know, you're on page 67! And you're still like, are they gonna do it or are they not? Are they going to? Oh my god, he finally touched your hand! And like some of the sexiest stories I've ever read know how to get you going. Know how to get you fantasizing. Because they know the art of arousal. Like, and it's a very special and sacred thing. And you know, I'll put it this way. It's why some dudes can have one-night stands with women and other ones can get like married or have the most amazing sexual encounters ever, because there's a layer of like, you can't have it yet. There's a layer of waiting, patience, how bad do you want it, show me you want it, stick around for more. Like, you know, I'll put it this way, and in case I'm repeating myself, I'll give some examples. I recently mentioned on here that I broke up with, or officially ended things with, my long-term on and off ex, Liam. We've known each other for 5 years. He's like a brother to me, which is a very gross thing to say about someone that you used to bang, but I'll put it this way. It truly did become that level of unsexy. There was no eroticism or sex appeal or anything with him. It became, this is just the guy I see every once a week or every 2 weeks. And we sit boringly in his apartment. And I watch him play Elden Ring before he lazily goes, ah, and then stretches to lay against me, and then awkwardly taps his boner against my thigh, and then I ignore him, and then eventually after like maybe 5 or 10 minutes of him just laying on me like a fucking log, the epitome of sloth itself and lust at the same time, amazing, he will then go back to his game and not speak a single word to me. And that's how things had gotten that bad. They were never ever that bad. At some point, he was the one that drove me wild, and now he was the guy that drove me insane, and not in a good way, just in a wow, I didn't know a person could be this pathetic sort of way. And so, to sum up this, because I don't want to tell this whole fucking story again, let's just say for years Liam was like, oh, like my housemate over there, that's just Hank, you wouldn't like him, he's such a dick. Like, if anything, never, don't even say hi to him, because he will, if he's having a bad day, I don't want him to snap at you, and I know how your temper is. I don't want him ruining your day and being an asshole to you. And I thought, okay, good looking out, Liam. I didn't question it, because why would Liam ever make up a lie? But then again, Liam's the same type of guy where he could get gifted skincare products and then lose them on purpose and lie about losing them just so that he could keep having acne at his grown big ass age. Liam is the type of man that will go, I am going to say that it is so inaccessible for me to eat healthy even though I work at an organic grocery store and I get a discount. He lives next to the apartment indoor gym. You will never see him work out unless he is walking to the porch to grab DoorDash from Jack in the Box over and over again. And as you can imagine, it's ruined his looks. His personality wasn't shit. He didn't have any real sex, wasn't good either. It's like, yay, starfishing or awkward, painful doggy. Whoa! There's nothing sexy or erotic about it. You want to know what was erotic, though? I had known his housemate passively for 3 years. We never even spoke a word to each other, aside from there being like a slight tint of mutual disdain. Hank would eventually, you know, send texts to Liam like, hey, you two keep it down, you're being too loud with your TV, it's late at night, also stop having her over so much, like only 2 days a week. And Hank would do that to Liam because he knew Liam was a bitch. Respectfully. I didn't like that he treated Liam that way, because at some point I respected Liam myself. Eventually that went away as well. And I didn't like Hank because, yeah, it's like, this is the dude who sort of pisses Liam off. This is the dude who is just arrogant and rude and a little bit downright hostile. And from what I've heard from Liam multiple times over, I'm not a huge fan. I had no real urge to talk to him, and he had no reason to talk to me until one day, let's just say I showed up looking very good with my braids nice and fresh, body oiled up, looking super cute, excited to see Liam even after a bit of time without seeing him, just because, you know what, I needed a distraction after breaking up with someone else, and he was a good rebound. Until he wasn't. And then when I saw Liam splotchy faced with a full body rash, bloated as fuck, I was feeling anything but eroticism or sex appeal. But you know what happened? His housemate came home. And then Liam and Hank started talking, and I just kind of sat there with my hands folded into my lap, looking at the floor as if I was some sort of submissive Qing Dynasty wife who had read about the 10 laws that get for a woman or some shit. And then I thought to myself, why am I doing this? Am I doing this to preserve Liam's ego? Like, or to show respect for him? It's a conversation with a man. How bad can it really be? And it ended up wonderful. Too wonderful. To the point where even Liam noticed, and he was so fucking scared. Now, this is where I think it was very erotic, and this is where the part sticks into my mind. I'm trying to see how I could describe this, but I apologize. I might be a little bit lightheaded tonight. That was the day I realized, oh, this is how Hank looks like when I'm not just walking past him and pretending not to notice him on my way to Liam's bedroom. He's got nice biceps, actually. Did he always have tattoos? I like that nice thick watch on his arm. I like his Adam's apple and his nice thick neck. He's got a lot of tattoos. I wonder how many, and I wonder where they could be. And next thing you know, as we talked about everything under the sun. Martin Scorsese movies, niche comic books, horror films, cult classics, actual cults, murder mysteries, all sorts of cool stuff. And the conversation was flowing and passionate and more. And it was a lot of fun. And I very much tried to involve Liam in it, but he very much did not want to be. Whatever. But where's the part that really gets me? I remember, so this is where it gets kind of fun. At some point, like, conversation goes on for an hour, and for the first half of the hour, I really was trying to be like, hey, Liam, like, don't hide over there in the kitchen looking scared, because he was. Liam just withdrew himself and was just kind of, like, giving, like, angry and sad eyes across the room, and I kept being like, come on, Liam, you love Martin Scorsese movies, you love Batman, we can all talk about this as friends and be normal, but he kept shooting it down in his own passive-aggressive little way that I got used to over the years, that he shoots down everything with hygiene, dates, all that shit, orgasms, like, ugh. So no offense, Liam put himself in a position where it's like, I feel like I'm cucking the fuck out of him, which in itself, a little erotic. Now, this wasn't a sexual scene by a long shot, but I will say at some point, I'll put it this way, Liam was in the kitchen, so like 5 feet away from me. Hank was all the way across the living room, like easily like 8 feet away from me. And we were just like low-key eye fucking the shit out of each other. But, you know, nothing too insane. Not like obvious, just like two people are enjoying each other's company, and I guess it's like, oh, okay. Not bad on both ends. Next thing you know, I remember I thought to myself, oh, I want to show respect to Liam though, because I am here to see him, and even though he's being quiet and being a pussy, I still respect him. I went up to the kitchen, and I sidled up next to Liam and put, like, and just, like, you know, slightly leaned against him to symbolize openly with my body language that I am still his woman. Mostly, kind of, sort of. Part-time lover. But, you know, still the main part-time lover. Hell yeah. Even if there might be a vacancy in that position soon, but... And then next thing you know, Hank, I guess, noticed. And he found an opportunity to get close to me as well. Because sometimes that happens. When you get a mild infatuation with someone, you look for an excuse to get close to them. And then eventually, let's just say he went across the room and grabbed like a Batman versus Superman comic and said, oh, if you love Marvel and you've never read DC, here, you would love this so much. And he comes up to me like shoulder to shoulder, not quite kissing distance, but still more than enough to make tension. And he opens the book next to me and he's like, ooh, check this scene out. And the way he comes up to me close enough where it's like, you know, still like barely even a head's distance away from my face. That made Liam immediately spring into action. Mind you, Liam doesn't spring into action on shit. I don't respect that man. He doesn't do shit with his life. But in that moment, I have to admit, it was pretty erotic. The way this nigga just swung his body and then put an arm around my waist and pulled me into him and shot the dirtiest, meanest look I have ever seen given to a man in fucking ages. As if he wanted to physically fucking kill Hank, and that was funny as fuck. And it like everyone noticed that, like, you know, so now it's a situation where it's like, oh no, I'm a helpless, gorgeous, beautiful dame, glamorous as fuck. Oh, the man who used to be my main lover, he's insecure, he's possessive of me now, as if I matter to him. He's pulling in my body tight, oh, and grabbing me by the hips and the waist. He's openly big bro, like just big dogging the fuck out of another man he usually deems superior. He's showing that he wants his lady. No one's gonna take my fucking lady, nigga. Except he's white, so he wouldn't say that. But you get it though. There's an eroticism, the fantasies, the what ifs, the things unspoken, the tension, romantic tension, like just anger tension. And then on the other end, it's like, all right, Hank's in a situation where it's like, oh, shit. Like, you know, you're out here accidentally pushing up on another man's woman. And then it's like, oh, but I could do better than you, though. What if I puffed up my chest and showed my interests and my ability to impress her? Because you're a weak bitch, Liam. What if I want to prove that I am the top dog? And I deserve to be the top male love interest. And what if I want to show that you're not shit and take your lady? And then next thing you know, being a woman caught in that situation, it's like, uh-oh. A guy I used to be really into, and the guy that I have to admit, nice. I'm stuck in the middle. Oh, the eroticism. Ooh, what might happen? And if you're wondering what happened, okay, I'll sum it up this way. A lot of weird possessive shit from Liam. I had to give him a talking to because he was making it hella fucking weird. Eventually, me, Liam, and Hank all did have a conversation again, but then there was a slight eroticism. Hank was nervous as fuck to make eye contact with me. But then the second we made eye contact for a few seconds too long, it's like, uh-oh. In the porch light, I now know what his colors of his eyes are. He's got the most piercing gray eyes I've ever seen. And some really strong black eyebrows, and a really nice jawline. His hair looks soft at the touch, actually. Why am I blushing? And it's like, and then you're in a situation where, and then next thing you know, I'll put it this way. Liam still wasn't on shit. He tried to be better. He tried to get better about his skincare and conversational efforts between me, Hank, and him and all that. But it still didn't change much of the fact that it's like, hey, Hank was still showing me that it's like, hey, you don't want no little puppy, you want a big dog. Like, you could, like, I'm just saying, if you want someone else to ramble to about video games who can look at you with pretty eyes, Hank's the man for that. And you know, I try, and like there was another moment where I low-key caught him checking me out when Liam wasn't around. I think at least twice. No, definitely like 3 times. Yeah, but the first time was years ago. And then someone's singing happy birthday. 1 second. Oh girl, I'm tired. Oh, but also it's 1 a.m. right now. As I was saying, I really wanted to, like, I was gonna get over that quick little crush I had on Hank. The little infatuation, even though I noticed how strong his motherfucking biceps and his forearms were. And, you know, and like, I tried to ignore it, but I'll put it this way. I got really injured, and then I had my period, and then for basically 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks straight, all I could think about were all the little moments between me and Hank, and I thought, that is the first time a man has made me smile in fucking ages. I feel alive when I'm with him. And I'm not saying it has to be him, but it definitely can't be Liam. So I should break things off with Liam. And I did a game plan. I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I want to seize control of my life and have fucking control over my fate and my destiny. Just like how in the Tang Dynasty, Wu Zetian decided herself, fuck all this shit. Fuck the Emperor. I want me a better nigga. And she did. And things just got really... I'll put it this way. Eventually, I know what I did. I took a nice long journey traveling all the way out to their city. So many cities away. And by the time I got there, the sun was just setting. And I showed up looking glamorous. Like nice flowy dress, nice push-up bra. Because of fucking course. Anyone can wear a push-up bra. Might as well be me. Oiled up. Because why not? Why not? I'm just kidding. I was not oiled up. It was shea butter. But still. Counts. I was pretty. I looked pretty. Had a glamorous necklace on. Nice pretty dress. I looked good. I always look fucking good. But... hey, what can I say? I made sure I had the mascara and the lip gloss on because I thought to myself, if there's a chance that I might have his pretty eyes on me again, even for a second, I want it so that instead of just like 3 seconds in a row where he could, or no, it was more like a single second and a half that he could look at me without getting embarrassed, without being nervous about Liam's attention, without blushing seeing me. Like, I want to make sure his attention lingers and that even if it is for a short second, that I stick in his fucking mind. Now, and if you're wondering what happened next, to sum it up, because I'm getting fucking tired, the eroticism moment for me. I show up, mainly just to get my laundry out of the apartment and to fold some clothes. Liam knew that. But, you know, Liam was still very interested in me. Like, at first, Liam was gonna act like I wasn't on shit, but then he looked at me and he's like, ooh, And he started doing the lazy thing he does, where he just starts alluding that he wants to have sex with me. As you can imagine, I was not in a mood to rush to have sex with him by any means necessary. Also, for the past few weeks where I was injured and all that, let's just say his personality was getting dull. Just everything about him was shitty as fuck. I hated it. I actually decided that I really needed to permanently end things with Liam. And so... sorry if I'm not being as descriptive as I can, but let's just say eventually you're in a situation where you just know it's like, okay, I got a nigga in, like, I could say I have another night in Liam's bedroom for hours on end, with him not saying a single fucking thing to me, as he always does. And this time being even more cold about it and putting in even less effort than before. And I could just sit there looking gorgeous and being too afraid to talk to Hank, or I can control my motherfucking destiny. So I decided to be like Wu Zetian and control my motherfucking destiny. I thought, I'm already not going to see Liam again. Even if I left this apartment without talking to Hank one more fucking time, I'm still never going to talk to Liam again. I have nothing to lose. I just walked my pretty ass up into the living room and I was like, hey, out of curiosity, do you have a comic about like Black Manta? Because I've been thinking about him for a few weeks, and I know you're really passionate about that. If you have a comic, you can show me. And guess what? It's like Hank was waiting for that the way he sprung his ass up and lunged to those books. And I want you to guess what happened. 5 fucking hours. And if you're wondering, 5 hours of vigorous fucking? No, of tension. You get 5 hours where it's like, all right, next thing you know, it was like he was still fucking nervous as hell to look at me, and we would be like talking about like Mortal Kombat. But anytime I said I wanted to watch him get a character fucking killed or learn about a character's lore, he would absolutely tell me. But there was always more than just enough, so that it wasn't just like a truly 100%, this is just a guy playing games platonically vibe. It was very much so like, you could get a guy to stare at you for like 7 seconds this time, but the second you look back and make eye contact, he immediately turns around and starts blushing. You see his ears turn red. Next thing you know, maybe you bring up like, ooh, I always wondered this about the Teen Titans, and then he gets up again, and next thing you know, he's on the floor anxiously trying to show you 3 different comic books at once. And even if you mention like a 4th superhero, he will gently grab another comic book and sit there for 5 minutes unbreakingly, slowly looking through each single page until he reaches page 57 to finally show you the scene that you're looking for. And he will smile as if he's the happiest man in the world because he's got your company there. And you'll notice his body language shift. You'll notice that he starts being unafraid to actually face you when he talks. You'll notice that he actually will find an opportunity to get as close to you as possible with a comic book. This time Liam's not being able to stop him. And I remember that as I walked into Liam's room to grab my bag of clothes to go fold it in the living room and talk to Hank instead, Liam shot me like the most confused look ever, with an emotion I couldn't quite read. Like more of a, wait, what the fuck is this? This is actually, you're doing this. And I avoided eye contact because I thought to myself, if this is the day that I have to cuck this man, he has to learn a lesson the hard way, I guess. I don't care. And so, like, you know, sometimes niggas gotta learn. Like, that would not even be a first for him, really. And so, I'll put it this way. Sometimes a guy is going to get very close to you with his comic books because it's finding a chance to see how you smell. To see what perfume you have on. To actually see how good your collarbone looks. And maybe the cleavage in your push-up bra. But he won't look too long because it's like looking at the sun. You can't look too long or else you're in danger. Next thing you know, you're going to notice that your knees start touching. That he's looking at you and smiling at you in a certain way. And then a few more little things here and there that just overall, you'll just be in a situation where it's like the taboo-ness that this shouldn't be happening. But will it? Will we let ourselves get to this point? Should we give in right away or should we go extra slow with it? Like, think about it this way. A normal person would be like, alright, I'm going to order a cake and eat it immediately. That's not really how people who indulge in eroticism seem to function. Like, any movie you know that has a great romantic slow burn, or any sexy movie you have, usually they'll do a million things that are really, really fucking horny before they finally get and have the release. So, does the story end with me fucking the shit out of Hank in his bedroom? No. But plenty moments of possessiveness and more that I just am a little too tired to talk about. Also because I've told this story a million times. But I'd say that's one layer of like, hey, you know what? It was an erotic situation. What's not erotic about, like, okay, here's 2 men that keep one way or another passive, and there's more details I didn't share. I'm just really fucking tired. It's 1 a.m. It's like 2 men fighting over me. Ever so subtly, though, passive-aggressively. And it's unfortunately, as immature as it is to see 2 grown men puff their chests up around each other and start, like, getting kind of weird to each other as if they're, like, dogs territorial over their piece of meat. Sometimes it feels a little erotic to be the piece of meat. Like, who's gonna get me? Winner takes it all. Who's in charge? Show me. And I like that shit. And I think that's fun. There also is... Oh, a more recent example. This one is a little more soft. I met up with a guy from New Zealand recently. And, you know, like I said, like, I met him and I thought to myself, this guy seems cool. I can already tell without too much looking at him that he's my type. I really want to ask if he just wants to. I don't think conversation's flowing all that well. I want to ask if he just wants to eat my pussy or if I can suck his cock and then be done with it because I'm really just feeling horny as if I'm ovulating for some reason. But I pushed down the urges, and because I pushed down the urges, we instead went from like a really, like, the first 2 hours were really awkward and I couldn't put my finger on why, but it just seemed like he was uncomfortable and really desperate to leave. Until later on, after a few drinks, I found out that at the around the 3 hour mark, if not the 5 hour mark at the very end, that he was just so fucking scared of how he was attracted to me that he couldn't help but hike his shoulders up high and tilt his head down and avoid eye contact. And he wasn't trying to be huffy, he just physically could not breathe. I made him speechless as a man. And he was so worried about not impressing me. And that, I have to say, that got my clit jumping more than anything. He is from the Netherlands, like originally from New Zealand, but moved to the Netherlands. People don't compliment each other out there, and the food's bland. So he was in a great position to be like, "Oh wow, I knew this was a fun girl with a nice personality, but she's really vivacious. She's charismatic. I love the colorful clothing that she has. I love her amazing figure. God damn, look at her." And like even seeing me compliment other people, and he was just like, I don't know how you do that, that's so, we don't do that where I'm from. And I was like, here, how about you try with me, how about you say a nice compliment, like, and I teased him. I was like, how about you say, hey Tamia, you got some sexy ass eyes, girl, here, I'll pretend I don't know you. And I covered my face, and then he was like, Tam, you have really love, I can't. And I was like, oh, that's, and I mocked him. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. You got so scared of me that you couldn't even just say lovely, and you changed it. Oh, you're so cute. And he just was blushing. He was like, stop. But eventually, I think it was one more drink in, and an hour later, he finally got the courage to look at me from across an extremely erotic looking bonfire where the flames were just dancing against our faces. And we looked at each other in the darkness of a very, very nice bar where it felt like we were the only two people there. He looked at me and he said, you have a really, really pretty face, by the way. Like, I find you actually genuinely very gorgeous and stunning. And I've been so scared this whole evening and nervous because I think you're one of the prettiest people I've seen in, like, maybe even my entire life. If ever. And I'm so sorry if that's corny, but that's, I don't know what to do with myself when I look at you. Flattery gets you everywhere. And, like, you know, and it was pleasant. I still was a little naive. I was like, that could just be a platonic compliment. I don't know. I could be wrong about things. I don't want to assume and make him uncomfortable. But then he walked me back to my place and he was like, and we hugged. And I forgot to mention, earlier in the evening, I was very nervous to ask this myself, but I asked what his type in women were, and he mentioned that he loves women with hips, and that it does it for him. And I thought to myself, I ain't an hourglass figure, but well, I'll put it this way. I've seen hippier, but I'm still lovely. I know that by already. I don't know. He is white. He's white and from Europe. No offense. I probably have been the biggest set of hips he's ever fucking seen, and I'm extremely skinny, by the way. But, so, shit happens, I guess. All I know is, when he came in for that goodbye hug, I thought he was gonna do, like, a friend above the shoulder hug. No, or like a slight, like, under the arm, but like touching the back. No, he made his intentions clear very erotically. He slid his hands around my waist, and he thought I wouldn't notice that he kind of like squeezed them just a little bit in a way that made me kind of like get goosebumps. And he slinked his arms a little bit lower and then gave me a nice little low body hug, nuzzling his face against mine for a second. And then he pulled away, and then he got really nervous, realizing he did a little bit too much, and he backs away. And the next thing you know, he's just like, oh, well, and you could tell he's so fucking nervous to ask it, but he spits it out. He's like, I would ask for a kiss too, but you know what? But I know we just met, and I don't even think, and it caught me way off guard, but not in a bad way. And so I was like, I could be down for a little right here. And then he leans in and gives me like a nice, like the way he did it was very sexy too. Like he didn't just go for a little, like a kiss for grandma type thing. He made it like a real lean and slow, like, and he laid it. And it's like, I think he put his lips on my face for like almost a full 2 seconds, dude. And yeah, I'm just saying. Woo, 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 woo. If you were, yeah, auga, I was turned on. And like, did I mention this nigga's 6'6" with piercing bluish gray eyes with a caramel center with huge fucking dilated pupils? That nigga was fucking digging it. And so, do you know how it feels to have a man who's an entire foot, if not more? I was wearing tall heels, and this nigga was still a foot taller than me. I think he was actually taller than 6'6". This nigga was tall as fuck. In his home country, they're all just built like giants, and I love that shit. And do you know how it feels to have a tall dude lean in and tower over you in that way? I'm blushing right now. Dude. Awesome. And if you're wondering, like, afterwards we were both smiling ear to ear and blushing up a storm, and we kept doing that thing where we look back at each other as we walk down the street. Me more so than him, admittedly, because I was also checking out his ass. Because of course I'm gonna do that. I'm like, I was gonna look at the material. It's like, hey, if he gets to see mine, I get to see his. Okay, we all get to check out what we like, and still not get it. Because you know what? Sometimes less is more. You want to know what happened? I got my ass in my apartment, and my cheek would not stop blushing for 12 fucking hours. I woke up the next day still blushing over that. My entire face was hot. My body was invigorated, and I wanted that man so badly again. And that, my friends, is what I would call erotic. Notice how that situation wasn't even like, it's like, it could have easily been like, alright, I'm bored. Take me to your hotel so I can suck your dick. That would be so much more boring. But this one was like, oh, look, it's like 5 hours of wonderful conversation, delicious food, great company, and yearning, and borderline romance and sexual tension and what ifs and nervousness and all this good stuff where you can just feel your body slowly burning to a fucking just crazy as hell, exhilarating, exciting, and enticing. And you aren't getting it still. And he liked that, and I liked it, and then next thing you know, let's just say 2 days later, I won't say too much other than sometimes, 1 second, sometimes you're going to be in a situation where you have the prettiest man you've seen in ages, nervous and melting under your touch when you do finally kiss him. It's going to be the best thing ever. Sometimes you're like, I'm just saying, it's like, there's nothing like waiting for a kiss. Like, even for me and Liam, hell, when we actually were good, I remember we waited 3 dates to even have our first kiss. Like, and that was very cute. You know what we did? We still had eroticism. We still had moments where it's like, oh, look, I'm wearing a sundress with no bra underneath and no panties. And it hangs just a little bit too low, but it still covers most of my body. And the fabric's soft. It's almost like you should touch it. And I'm going to lay against you. Not quite spooning. No, you haven't earned that yet. We need hours of you low-key trying to hide your erection. Just from me sitting like in front of you before you finally woke up the nerve to maybe slink a hand around me. You're going to pass out in my arms without a single bit of sexual gratification, and you are going to like it. You're going to like being edged. You're going to like me, and I'm going to like you. And then lo and behold, let's just say, drawing things out really, really helps. And now, fuck it, I guess I'm tired enough to explain this situation, because I was supposed to talk about my day anyway. I hung out with Hay today. You know, my favorite fuck buddy. And, like, he's awesome. I like him a lot. I think he knows that I saw... it'd be weird if he didn't, but I'm 90% sure he knows I saw the New Zealand guy, who I did eventually have sex with, of course, and that was fun. I quite liked it, even though I almost killed myself immediately after it, but it's okay. I lived, this is his jacket, by the way. I saw Hay, and I remember I hit up Hay, and I was like, hi, I'm feeling kind of weird, and I would like a distraction. Do you want, and I'm ovulating like hell, and it's getting really crazy, so do you want to do some sexual things with me? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. But then I think like a day or so later, he just was like, Hay does this interesting thing, where he's like, oh, Yeah, I'd love to meet you for sex. Here, in fact, I might be able to have you a bit longer. Like, let's meet sometime tomorrow and we can body double and, like, do some work together after it, too. Hell yeah, we can make, like, a few hours set aside just for you. And I'll be like, okay, that sounds cool. But he also, I think he knows how to get me or to get in my head. You know, think of it like this way. In the motherfucking Qing dynasty, or in any dynasty or any time in history ever, do you think that like, I'll put it this way. If the emperor gets a new concubine who's getting favored, you don't try to just win his favor back by being like, ooh, Huang Shang, come fuck me, Huang Shang, ignore that bitch. No, you have to actually be like, I'm going to get close to her heart. I mean, get close to the emperor's heart and win his favor through his emotions. Because it's like, yeah, he can have a warm body any day. Who's going to be the lady who helps him grind his fucking ink and sip his fucking tea and talks to him about matters of the court and sings and plays the lute and stuff? So that stuff is very important. And I remember a lot of things happened with Hay, but I won't say it too much because I'm so tired. Oh, fuck, I'm really tired. Let's just say with Hay, eventually he just kind of knew what to do. He was like, oh, hey, actually, I'm not quite feeling horny these days, but I would still quite like to see you if you'd still like a distraction. And I was like, oh, but at that point the arousal had passed, and I was like, okay, you know what, sure, I could do that. And then he kind of does this thing where, oh, God, I'm so tired. I'm really fighting for my life right here. Let's just say 1 second, it's supposed to be this is the guy who might eat my pussy and, like, maybe do a little laptop work with me for like 3 hours. Nothing inherently special, something entirely, like, anyone can do that. He's just like a lovely guy that does that, and I appreciate that he does. It's awesome. And then, next thing you know, he becomes the guy who's like, hey, Timmy, I'm going to find an excuse to have you over for an entire 24 hours straight. I'm going to watch the World Cup with you and tell you out of nowhere that I have told all of my friends about our lore so that I can casually start bringing you up to them all the time without worrying. Almost as if I'm kind of prepping for something. And I thought to myself, what is he prepping for? We are supposed to be non-committal fuck buddies, and here he is, not having sex with me. He bought us a delicious pizza and sat us down to watch this World Cup game together in a huge crowd, and he's smiling at me as he tells me that he told his friends about us, and he's really trying to appeal to my emotions. Like, I'm not looking into it too much even now, but I will say it's like I almost have the words for it. I'll put it this way. I think I know what he's doing. And I have to say, smart tactic. A very smart tactic, especially with me. He's a smart guy. He knows he's intelligent. I'm pretty sure about it. And yet. Sorry, I'm fighting for my life. If I seem quiet. God damn, bitch. Fuck. I'm so tired. I'm about to pass out. I'll sum it up like this. I'm wearing Hayes' shirt right now, but we didn't have a single lick of sex. His love language is just getting me gifts, which I very much appreciate. It is my favorite love language. He knows how to get to my heart. Except I wouldn't say he has full access to it. I would just say that I quite like his way of being. And if he truly is doing this all to be a friend, I have to say he certainly knows how to be a friend that I want to sink my fucking teeth into, like, sexually. Next thing, and he knew how to draw out the tension. Little things, like 1 second, like, yeah, now I'm riding on the back of his motorcycle with him and awkwardly putting my hands around his waist and really trying not to just, like, lean in too close to his neck to sniff his fucking cologne, which, by the way, his natural scent already smells really fucking good, and his cologne on top of that, bon appetit, dude. And next thing you know, you're just in a store looking at him and helping him try on bracelets and hyping him up on which ones look good for him. And you can't help but notice, it's like, oh wow, he has very nice wrists. I really want to touch his soft skin even more. And just, it's hard to explain it, but like, several times throughout the day, it was just moments where it's like, this would be the perfect moment to grab him by the waist and kiss him. Which, disgustingly, makes me blush even now. And I don't like that, because I don't think he's a safe person to have an attraction to for a lot of reasons. I trust him as a friend. And as for anything else, let's just say no. But I will say, I slept overnight. He surprised me by just being like, if you want, you can sleep over, by the way. I would totally be happy to have you, and you can go back in the morning if you want to. Whenever you want, you can leave. And I made it clear, it's like, I'm here to stay, because I quite like your presence. We had a nice day together, and next thing you know, we were up until, what, like 1 a.m., almost 2 a.m.? He ordered like $75 worth of Chinese food. Way too fucking much. He wasn't even hungry, and neither was I. Or like, but he still got almost anything. I could be like, it would already be like fucking $65 worth of food, and I'd be like, oh, they have fried banana, and he'd be like, oops, my finger slipped, and then order it as well. Like, and little shit like that. He knows how to tease. He knows how to flirt. Plenty of times of playful insults and playful roasting and just playful flirting. But still, you know how I said that sometimes there's tension in things? Like, you know, still not kissing me, still afraid to touch me. Little things like that. But still always trying to be glued to my side one way or another. Still trying to find ways to keep me over for longer. And the next thing you know, it was like, I don't know, there's also eroticism and vulnerability. I remember that sometime last night when I was at his house, like right around like the midnight mark, or give or take, we were sitting with all the food in front of us, and I could tell that he was getting he was hyper energized, but also kind of sleepy-ish, and it just kept going between emotions. And he has this thing with shame that he doesn't remember telling me, but I remember, because of course I remember. I care about him. Except gross, don't tell him I said that. God, I'm so tired. He just, at some point during a nice moment, I could tell that he was like holding his breath about something, and he looks at me and he's like, to me, I did ketamine. And I was like, huh? And I wasn't that shocked, because it's like, yeah, you've told me that you do ketamine. We've had this discussion before, but you know. But then he looked at me kind of like really scared and sad in the eyes, as if he was just really nervous to show me, but he also had a sleepy look, as if it was someone who was very, very, very intensely and actively doing drugs secretly without me noticing, and was just confessing to me in the moment that he had secretly been intoxicating himself so that he could keep his energy up to stay up with me longer, or whatever the fuck his intention was. And I thought to myself, oh! And I said out loud, ah! Because of fucking course I would. But I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, like, when? And he was like, yeah, when you thought I was smoking a blunt, I just secretly was doing ketamine. And I was like, you were quiet as fuck about that. Like, I didn't hear a snorter. Did you put it in your mouth, or how did you do it? He's like, yeah, I did snorting. I'm just really good at quiet snorting. And I was like, oh, okay, shit, hell yeah. And then I was like, cool, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I just want to tell you because I feel so bad, and if I start looking sleepy or drowsy, it's not you. I don't know, I just did that. And I could tell he was really fucking nervous, and could, you know, he's, something I find extremely sexy about him is that you can tell when he genuinely feels like sad and like scared in his eyes. And I know you're like, Tamia, why do you like when a grown man looks sad or scared? Maybe it's because I'm a little sadistic, or maybe it's because I love appeals to emotion and very clear, like, all right, I can tell what this person's genuinely feeling, and it's extremely sweet. So I could tell in his eyes that he really, 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 really was scared to tell me, because he knows I don't like drugs. Like, but I told him, yeah, I don't care, you're my friend. As long as you're being safe. Are you being safe? I have a fent testing strip. Are you testing your drugs? And he was like, yeah. And he was like relieved. He's like, yes, yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much for understanding. And it was sweet. And we resumed the evening just like listening to like all these different music videos that we all like. We had very similar music tastes, and he was actually getting shocked at how much music we had in common. And he was joking, damn, well, you know what, maybe I'm a 25-year-old black woman. What if that's actually happening to Mitty? And we were laughing our ass off. And he was serenading me to like random ass music. Oh, I forgot to mention it. Like when we were riding his motorcycle around town, this is something I personally found erotic. He was singing on the bike, and I think that's sexy. That it's like, oh look, not everyone is comfortable singing around each other. It's something that I very rarely do. But we were just singing random ass songs from Ludacris, or trying to hit high notes as we zoomed around on his like fucking Vesper like scooter through the streets of San Francisco. And I was screaming my ass off like, wahoo, yahoo! And he was mocking me by doing the same exact shit, like, yahoo! And we were driving, zooming. He'd occasionally swerve on purpose just to see if it could make me giggle or squeal. Shit like that. That gets the adrenaline going. That makes a girl have certain thoughts. And it's pleasant. And Also, okay, I'll admit it, there was a cute moment where he just kind of started singing Love on Top by Beyonce, and he was actually hitting those high notes pretty fucking good. It's like, god damn, bitch, save some pussy for the rest of us. You can't be out here with this much talent and sex appeal, dude. But he was, and the funny thing was, he was purposely not singing the word love, which is hysterical. I forgot to mention this earlier in the video. A certain layer of eroticism can be like restraint at things that have no reason to be restrained. When you have a crush, you will overthink even the most modest things. If you don't have a crush on someone, you'll make eye contact usually pretty fine. If you do, you'll be like, shit, I can't look at her. Oh, if I look at her, oh no, her nigga's gonna beat my ass. Oh, what if, no, she's probably creeped out. Oh no, I'm a fucking pervert. No, and it's like you get in your head about things. Next thing you know, like a nigga who you think you're just friends with, you're sitting like 8 feet away on the fucking couch for no reason. And it's like it's cute little shit like that that sticks, that makes memories, that actually can make a moment erotic and distinctive from the next, in my opinion. And I quite enjoy that. And like, you know, there's a teasing element to it. And all I know is I'm not gonna accuse Hay of a single goddamn thing, because I'm choosing to ignore anything. You know, I'm gonna pretend I don't notice certain things because hey, what if I'm wrong? What if a dude's just telling his friends about me and having me meet them and all this other shit for no reason just because he wants to be a good friend? What if he's buying me crazy absorbent amounts of food just because he really cares about me and wants me to stop like being skinny and shit? Or like, you know, but certain little things he does. He's the type of guy where if I am about to leave his house, he will try to offer me as much clothing as he can. And he loves dressing me up specifically in his type of clothing. It's as if he kind of knew Timmy is wearing another man's jacket. And yes, he did ask about New Zealand guy, and there was a certain tone in his voice that I seemed like he was trying to restrain to ask. You know, like not everyone wants to be seen as like, ooh, are you seeing another man? Did you fuck? What did you do? Was he like? Was it better than me? Not everyone wants to be seen as that person, so they might try to play casual, but still have a certain hitch in their voice, or a pause when they talk, or an awkward silence, or like something to like give the vibe of I'm interrogating you, but I'm trying to make sure that you don't notice. So it's like, oh, so who's that guy from New Zealand, huh? How'd you meet him? That's great. So you're wearing his jacket right now, and you saw him recently, and you went to that restaurant together. Anything else interesting happen that you did? And it's like other things like that, and it's like, why are you asking those questions? And I wasn't gonna get. It's like I'm not. We were at a crowded event. I wasn't exactly gonna be like, yeah, I got back shots twice, but it's like one like only one round. I was just I wasn't gonna play to his fucking tune, or actually no, I did play to his tune. I just wasn't gonna add any extra motherfucking notes that I didn't have to add because it's his tune. If he wants to know certain notes, he can ask himself for them. So I made it clear, like, yeah, we saw each other. No, nothing too interesting, just a pleasant time. Yeah, I quite enjoyed my time with him. And we left it at that. And we very quickly moved on to him just out of nowhere admitting that he told his friends all about us. Not every single detail, just enough about the lore to make them know that it's like, yeah, me and Tamia had a past. We hooked up before it ended horribly, but now we are reconnecting and seeing how it goes. And he made it clear pretty much everyone in his life is accepting and like not exclusionary about me, and it's just like, if you want to do this, then go ahead. And I have to say, that's a very, I'll put it this way, the first time we had sex this year, like as in like this passing month or so, I enjoyed it, and we mutually agreed certain lines in the sand. His life is his life and my life is mine, and we will not intercross those. And I've done such a good job of not crossing those, and as for him, I'll put it this way, he was the one inviting me to meet his friends. He's the one who's like, you can stay over. I want to do everything in my power to make sure you're safe. He's the one that has been trying to make it a non-sexual dynamic. Maybe he is just being a good friend. Maybe there's something more. We haven't had sex recently. He could just be a good friend. He could just be like, Tamia has been used for sex enough in her lifetime. Let's actually have someone who genuinely cares for her. And that's sweet and that's thoughtful. He could be like, I don't know. Sorry if I'm being under descriptive, but I'll sum it up like this. There was a moment before we went to bed last night where, you know, we were both fighting to stay awake, but at some point around 1 a.m., I was just like, yeah, you know what, we can go to bed. You know, I almost got my second win, but just because I did doesn't mean I have to stay up. I can just easily pass out in the next 12 seconds if I want to. And so after a good night of, like, just barely eating the delicious ass Chinese food he picked out for us, and watching awesome music videos and me watching him do the sexiest dancing I've ever seen in my fucking life, again, for the second time, amen, and singing a bunch of music and me being really, really, really turned on at how good he moves his body, how actually secretly muscular he is, how actually he's extremely in shape. And did I mention he has very gorgeous eyes? Very gorgeous eyes that make me blush, and I don't want to admit that at all. It disgusts me to say it, but he has very pretty eyes where from the side they look honey brown, but then when they look right at you, they're like espresso brown. He actually is secretly a very gorgeous man. He looks really good without his glasses. His eyes just look smaller with them. But even with his glasses on, you know goddamn well that he's the shit. Unfortunately. Ah, God. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, has he always had those strong calf muscles? I'm a legs girl. Next thing you know, you're gonna be like, oh shit, look at those tattoos on his legs. And his arms. And all the other ones I found. And all the other ones I still have yet to find, even though we've fucked plenty of times. Well, just, you know. And you're gonna be in a situation. I'm so tired. So as I was saying, there was a moment before we went to bed where I just was like, we were just gonna go to bed. It was gonna be super, super normal. But, you know, he wrapped his arms around me. He didn't do it anything too crazy, don't get me wrong. And I don't want to rewrite history from what I can remember. From what I can remember, he did it the friend way, where it's like arms around. Did he go underarm? No, I think he went arms around the shoulders. But I genuinely don't. Wait, no, I don't remember it, because all I know is I was about to pass out, just like how I'm about to pass out now. All I know is one way or another he slinked his arms around me and held me extra fucking tight, as if just to show off his strength. And he held me close and he whispered in my ear how happy he was that I'm back in his life, and how glad he was to have me around that evening, and how happy he is to have me over in general. And I said thank you, and we hugged for a long time, something between like 7 to 12 seconds. And I remember thinking, actually no, 7 seconds, and I thought to myself, this is going on a little too long. So I pulled out first and I was like, yeah, thank you, buddy. And I rubbed his back like a friend would. And then he did not let go in the slightest. He kept going until it hit the 12-second mark, and he was like, I didn't say to stop, because I'm not stopping. I didn't stop, did I? And then next thing you know, I'm blushing again. And then he just kind of like goes, I'm just kidding, but still, good night. And then he leans in and he leaves this big, wet, juicy, warm kiss on my face for a few seconds too long. And then next thing you know, I'm blushing again. And then I'm passing out the happiest fucking woman ever. Extremely goddamn horny again. And then if you're wondering what happened, the next morning, let's just say I knew the next morning, he told me that he was gonna go out for a coffee with some lady around like 10. And that already annoyed me, but I thought to myself, I can't be a hypocrite. I got fucked like a few days ago by a hot New Zealand guy. And I can easily, if he sees this chick for the coffee, then you know what? I do want to catch New Zealand guy before he flies back to his country in the Netherlands and stuff. So I can like... So, in a nutshell, I was like, yeah, I could just fuck it if he goes. But it was just like a really long, drawn out morning of just anxiously waiting and trying to tell myself, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna be okay, I'm totally fine. I'm not anxious, I'm not possessive. Oh, I'm a chill girl, I'm a cool girl. And being like, no, the fuck I'm not. But I'm not gonna break shit or have an attitude. I will just politely leave and block him for a little bit, like 3 days to a week, and get the fuck over it, and get the fuck under some people, you know? And I'll be happy. And I'll be super ecstatic. And that was my ambitions, to just have a peaceful fucking evening. Ugh, shit, sleepy. God, I'm about to pass out. Oh my god, and look at me, I might actually sleep on my actual bed tonight. Just like I haven't slept in this bed for definitely over a year, if not 2 years. So I have to say, there is a certain eroticism here. Like, oh, look. Tamia's not sleeping on the floor. She's sleeping on her weird, fucked up ass mattress. And she loves it. Absolutely. So here I am in a situation where it's like, alright. you know, I was just anxious a little bit and just kind of telling myself in my head, like, okay, Hayes probably gonna wake up any moment and he's gonna tell me to go home and he's gonna have coffee with another girl. And I'm not saying I was thinking of Mr. Brightside in my head, but I was definitely thinking, like, okay, shit, maybe I should see Australian dude, or should I just go home, or what? Or should I stay? Should I just wait for Hay to wake up and let me know what happens? And Hay eventually woke up, and let's just say eventually he came down and he was like, huh, I'm not getting a response from that lady yet, like just allegedly some platonic friend of his, and he just sat next to me very close on the couch and just made it clear, like, yeah, like if you want I can call you a ride home either way about it, or we can hang out a bit longer and get some coffee and some breakfast nearby if you'd like. And so we did. And let's just say the girl, or I thought the girl canceled on him, but then I don't know, he phrased it interestingly. He was like, yeah, I rain checked on that girl, by the way. Here, let's go out together. And then we went out and we had a wonderful time at this restaurant, and he was extremely sweet. And I even showed him a video, one of my shorter ones actually, where he got to see my natural personality and charisma. And he laughed his ass off and punched my arm a little bit too many times. But but I was turned on when he did, so it's like, uh-oh. That's why is it sort of erotic. I like that he's touching me, even though, my arm, ouch. And then, I don't know, it's one of those, it was like a tension, like, okay, fuck. Here we are sitting, like, we're sitting this close in the restaurant, like, in this little cafe, and little moments where 1 second our thighs are touching and our arms are touching, and it's like, it's as if it's totally normal, but the 1 second or the other, one of us is pulling away. Why are we doing that? Are we friends? Is there something else here? I don't think I want to know. Would it be easier knowing? Would it not be? It doesn't matter. All I know is we haven't kissed. But it was all I could think about. All I could think about all day whenever he smiled at me or looked at me a little bit too happily or was too excited to talk to me. And whenever we would hit flow state and we both would just keep bouncing songs and topics and ambitions and goals and passions off of each other and have it really fucking amazing time talking to him. I truly, really enjoy his company, and I'm glad we are back in each other's lives. I'm really happy that we are connected. Next thing you know, all I could think about was I want to slip my hands around this dude's face, to pull him in and just taste him. I want my lips against his. I want my spit on any part of his body and vice versa. I want him so bad. And there would be moments where I would just be sitting next to him like, I wish I could sit closer. I wish I could entangle my legs between his without it being seen as sexual and weird. But deep down, I want it to be sexual. I want it a little bit weird. I want anything I can take from this man on his body, consensually. I wanted to leave bite marks on his body. I literally was looking at his arms at some point like, wow, he's got actually very nice, strong arms. I love that how the veins pop out. His hands are sexy. I like the rings on them and the tattoos. And I thought to myself, I think the only thing that can make his arms look even prettier would be my pretty little mouth biting into every fucking section of his goddamn body as if it were mine. I want to eat that man up. Like motherfucking chow mein, bitch. Sink my teeth in. Woof! Let me in it! I'm so tired. God. I want to just slurp that man up so bad. But deep down it's like, but he's my friend and I can't. And then it kind of becomes, oh, he's my friend and he can't. Oh, he's my friend and we can't. Why am I home in his clothing? He's my friend. And then next thing you know, you're thinking about it. And then you're in a situation where it's like, uh-oh, blushing your ass off and finding this nigga so hot. And it's like, you did, like, now you're just, it's like, oh, uh-oh. He's sticking into your mind. He's showing off naturally that he's extremely athletic and extremely hygienic and goal-oriented and very impressive as a man. He's checking almost all the boxes. But you can't, and you don't know why you can't, but boy, are you kind of... Let's just say, last year we fucked on the second date. Whatever. It killed a good thing. And I was mad at myself for ages about it. And also at him. And this is the year where he decided to come back, and now I guess we both mutually know the consequences. And I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm not looking at it directly, because I think it's so much better not knowing. Because at absolute worst, I get to stay home and think to myself, oh my, he lets me do anything I want. He likes me so much. Any food I want, yeah. If I look good in his clothes, I can take that shit. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but I like it. And then it's like, I'm just saying, yeah. But in Beth, I would put it like this: I'm happy to be his friend, and I enjoy being his friend. But I have to say, it is a little erotic. A lot of it is erotic. And sometimes it's like, all right, so we absolutely can't kiss or touch anymore, even though our bond is literally to be fuck buddies. Our bond is to be, we were supposed to just be one night stand fuck buddies. We were supposed to be, you're the munch who occasionally takes me out, and I ride your face and make, and maybe eventually we'll fuck, you know? And now it's at the point, one second. Next thing you know, you're in a situation. Oh, I'm so tired, goddamn. Goddamn. Next thing you know, you're in a situation. That's all it is. Sometimes a situation can be a fun situation. It doesn't even have to end with anything. As you can imagine, I haven't seen Hank since that one night. But it was still a situation that I'm glad I experienced. It had nothing to, it like, sex did not happen, but you know what? Enough tension and build up and weeks of fantasizing from small little moments alone. And I quite appreciated that. And meanwhile, for Hey, it's a similar thing. Like, you know, we fucked, and when we did fuck last year, he was admittedly the best sex of my life, and I have proudly admitted that, and even told him recently. Even though he knew, I guess it still flatters him that to this day he still kind of holds that record. Australian guy almost beat it, I'll admit. If he didn't nut pretty fast, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, Australian dude. Oh, let me not remind myself of him. Oh, he's so good. I should check in on him, by the way. I should send him a message. He's probably landed in his home country by now, and he might be jet lagged, but I hope he can. I hope I can at least get one message to him or something. You know, see how it's like adjusting back into society and all. Maybe I'll mail him back his jacket one day. But I'm just saying, Hey is very sexy. And I like whatever the fuck is going on with him. As long as he's careful, and as long as we both are careful, then we can do whatever the fuck we want. I don't know if I'd say he's being the most careful. Or he sometimes he's overly careful. Overly sweet in a way that I can't help but really, really like. And other times it's like he's just throwing caution to the wind, like, hey, Timothy, come meet all my friends. And then the next time we meet, like a week later, it's like, oh, by the way, I told my friends about you being the psycho, like, chick from last year. But, you know, so that then I can bring you around them, like, all the time and blah, 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 blah. It's like, why are you soft launching me, bro? Like, low-key. Not saying it's for a relationship, but no offense. If it, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just seemed a little off. It's something about this just feels off. I don't know. Maybe he could just be an incredible friend. But what if? I won't look into it. I'll put it this way. The outcome depends on my trust in him and his actions, and that's all that really matters. But as of now, I'm quite enjoying the classic eroticism of will they, won't they? Noticing little things that make a person obsessed with another. And I have to say, like I said, he was the best sex I've ever had last year, and also probably still to this day. Only twice has someone ever gotten close to him in terms of sexual abilities, but I'd say at my most erotic and peaceful and blissed out I've been, it's been this. It's been him proving to me that he can be a capable man who actually cares about me and is invested in the outcome of how my life goes. And is doing that thing that you do when you get a crush, where next thing you know, you're too scared to even give a kiss or hug too long, unless you're high on drugs, because you're afraid of giving a lady the wrong signal because you don't know how you feel about her yet, or because you do have feelings for her but you're just trying to hide it. So now you're overthinking that that if you hug with two arms, then that's basically telling her that you want to get married with kids. Yeah. And no, it does not. You'll be fine. Oh, you're so hot. Anyway, I should pass out. I should go to bed. Bye.